You wanna know what I think the worst thing is that the internet's doing to people right now? It's leading everybody to believe that everybody else is an idiot, especially people that disagree with them. Everybody's first reaction to somebody that disagrees with them is like, oh, you're an idiot. It's like, actually, the vast majority of people aren't idiots. They just either are coming from a different background, have a different belief system, have different reasons, have different, like, it's a whole variety of things. Assuming that somebody else is an idiot, especially when they're professional in their field, is like the worst mistake one person can make. And if everybody stopped just immediately claiming everybody else is an idiot, I think the world would be a better place.
I had a fun day yesterday, and today some people have been coming up. It's been great. Surrounded by some wonderful actors, too. We got people from Walking Dead, from Game of Thrones. You know, I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, so I got to go get in line over there soon.
When fans do get to meet you, what are the most common questions you get asked? What do they always throw at you?
Probably the most common question is, how long did your makeup take? If you show a picture of this, obviously I was in a good amount of makeup. So that's probably the most asked question, is how long did your makeup take, which was about 8 hours. No, it was only an hour and a half. I had a great makeup artist. She got it down to an hour and a half. So that was probably the most asked question. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. She's a little nervous. Did you see point the camera right here in front of you right here? So nervous. I'm just going to hate that I did that, but that was a lot of fun.
Talking about DS9, obviously within the Star Trek universe, it had a very special place in fans' hearts. It was something a little bit different, I think, from the previous Trek series. Can you talk a little bit about what you think it brought to that universe?
Well, when it first came out, it really wasn't well received because it wasn't very Trek-like, because it wasn't going from point A to point B. I remember going to several conventions earlier while the show was in production, where people would say, you know, I don't like it. It's not trekking. It's not going places. And one of the arguments that I would constantly give, I said, well, it's another facet in this huge world that you get to look into. And instead of it going places, it's bringing others to it. It's bringing stories together in that universe and showing another side. And I was always saying you should be thankful to have something different, because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I think our show had become much more appreciated over the years rather than at the time of production. And I think people these days like it a lot more than they did back then. I think when people rewatch it and are able to watch it from beginning to end and realize it was kind of serialized from episode to episode, they see what great work the writers did for the show. And the writers wrote a great show. They really cared about it. There was a lot of heart put into that show. And I think people see that now, and I don't think they quite saw it back then because it was so different than what they were used to.
The show, I think, varied more than a lot of the other Trek series. It went from being very light to also at times a lot darker than I think Trek fans were used to.
Absolutely. It played with areas that the other shows never did. And I think that was another reason that started to turn people off, because they had this idea of what Star Trek was, and I think Deep Space Nine was kind of turning that around a little bit, flipping it on its dark underbelly, so to speak, and showing that not everything's always nice and neat and pretty, that sometimes the ends justify the means in actions that take place, at least throughout our show. And again, you know, the writers, God bless them, they wrote a fantastic show, and I was blessed to be a part of it, you know.
What particularly excited you about playing a Ferengi, and particularly this young handsome fellow?
Well, I don't know if he was really that handsome.
Ferengi he was a looker.
Well, I was the best looking of the Ferengi. I say that to my uncle and my father all the time. Well, you know, the writers, again, they wrote Nog. That's a long-winded answer to your question, because there was so much put into Nog over the years. He had a terrific story arc, and it really paralleled my own life pursuing acting, which was really ironic. But the culmination of that story was the siege of AR-558 that went into It's Only a Paper Moon. And the fact that they gave me that show and told that story, it was everything to me. And to have a character like Nog who steps out of the norm of what his family was.
Cheaters beware! We have Clark Gable III in the studio for an exclusive interview. I'm Nicole DeBow in Hollywood, and this is the Daily Buzz on CelebBuzz.com. Clark, welcome to Celeb Buzz. Now, before we get to the show cheaters, I have to ask you, I mean, of course your name is Clark Gable. Your grandfather is the legend Clark Gable. Do you think having that name has helped or hindered your career?
I think it's helped my career in a lot of ways. I think it has hindered them because if, people make mistakes with big names in Hollywood, it kind of becomes public record. So, to say the least, I think it's been a great thing, a blessing, and a little bit of a hindrance.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
I mean, at least you're, like the Hilton name, they're kind of running around town making a fool of themselves. You're a host, you're hosting Cheaters, which is awesome. So now let's talk about the show. Now you're splitting your time, right, between Dallas and LA because the show is shot in Dallas, which is my hometown. I have to ask, why is it filmed in Dallas? Are there just like a bunch of cheaters there?
Well, in Dallas alone, there's a couple 100,000 cases a year. People basically phone in, and then we see if there's any validity in the case. We send out our investigation team, and if we like what we see, then we'll pursue it. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much shoot in Dallas. It's all based there because the rules are a lot different there. You can get away with a lot more. If we come to LA and try to do half of the things that we do there, it probably wouldn't even happen.
So what can you get away with there?
We can pretty much go into any restaurant, any bar, any location that we want to with people having no idea what's about to happen and make it look like a bomb just went off in everyone's face.
You better be careful. I mean, those people in Texas, they're packing.
Oh, absolutely they are. But they're more responsible, I feel, because they're packing. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, every truck's sold with a gun rack. I mean, it's unbelievable. I love Texas.
It's crazy. I can't believe 200,000 cases. I mean, you'd think that there'd be like the Texas gentleman, but clearly not.
It's not, it's a hard thing to come by. There's a lot of cowboys out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people would say that this is kind of invading people's privacy, just kind of barging in them in the middle of their infidelity. So what do you think? I mean, is it okay morally to do what you do?
I think it's okay because what I'm delivering is the truth. And I'm getting people through a point in their life where they're either stuck or there's some miscommunication that they can't figure out and it's screwing up everything else around them. You drop a stone in the middle of the pond, it has a ripple effect, and that's exactly what these people are doing, is they're making one huge mistake when they have, a commitment with somebody, and they're getting caught red-handed in that mistake. And no one likes to get caught in the act, but I mean, I have a full surveillance team around me, so it's like I have all the evidence right here. The other party has seen it, and we go out and we bust them. And it's like, you can't argue with that. I mean, you're caught red-handed.
So what's the craziest thing that's happened so far?
Seeing a human being smash a windshield with his bare hand and not have a broken arm or a scratch on him. That was like a mixture of anger to adrenaline. That was crazy. And then we had another episode that was just ridiculous. It ended up being, it was a couple that had been married for about 7 years, and the husband had come home during a business trip to his wife. In the act, in a room, but with 7 other women.
Wait. But no men were there?
No men. Just 7 other women.
So 8 women, orgy, and he walks in on
just the sky's the limit. I have no filter for this anymore.
You have a really cool job, I think. I don't know. But there are some scary things that come with this because, as you know, the old host was stabbed in the stomach. So does that frighten you a little bit? It
doesn't frighten me because I myself was stabbed in the chest twice in 2009 here in LA, not in Texas, but
not for the show, not related.
Not for the show. No, I was just was at a party, one thing led to the next, and ended up being stabbed in the chest, and it sucked. But
wow.
So we share that in common already. So I feel like I've kind of been there and done that part of the thing, but I don't really worry too much about my safety. I'm very perceptive about my surroundings, and I can take care of myself, so it's like I'm not worried about too much. And people out in Dallas love us. I mean, we do good deeds, and half the places we go, they're usually cheering cheaters.
All right.
I mean, I happen to get in some heat because I'm replacing someone who's been on this train for 10 years, Joey Greco, and I'm not here to make anything better or worse between what he did and what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to do the best that I can for myself and all my audience.
All right. Well, if I'm suspecting cheating in my relationship, not that I'm in one, I'll know who to call.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for being here. And for all the latest on the biggest stories breaking right now, go to celebbuzz.com.
One of the greatest movie stars of all time, Clark Gable.
Now, his 24-year-old grandson, also named Clark Gable, is making a name for himself in Hollywood. Acting, modeling, and hosting the reality show Cheaters. He's with us this morning. I mean, I see the similarities looking at the screen there and then looking back at you, Mr. Clark Gable. Do you think you look like your granddad?
To a certain extent, I could say the eyebrows maybe, but I I didn't get the ears too much.
Yeah, you don't want the stash. Well, there he is. There he is without the stash. The stash really took his game a level up, though, didn't it?
Look at that right there.
You know, I can't even grow one yet, so it's kind of embarrassing, but that's okay.
You're 24 years old.
I am 24 years old.
Oh, you had your birthday last night?
Yes.
What'd you do?
I went to Universal Studios with my significant other and saved the world with the Transformers.
You did? That's
I
cool.
did. It was great. I hung out with some dinosaurs on Jurassic Park.
Outstanding.
And hung out on the back lot for a second with the rest of the people on the studio tour.
How fun.
Now,
It was really
significant
fun.
other, if you're like your granddad, is she really the significant other, or do you get to, you know, make, you know?
She's the one that I hold close to my heart at this moment.
Well, he's hosting a show called Cheaters. Again, exactly. Is that it? There's a little irony right there because the legend of Clark Gable is so fantastic.
Yes.
He was the lumberjack in Evening Clothes. He made his career with a much older woman who was an acting coach, and then he moved to another woman. He loved to womanize and romance. When you look at that, you're like, Granddad, you got to tone it down, or is there great pride?
There's great pride, but then I'm just like, man, I mean, how am I supposed to stand up to someone twice as tall as me? I feel like I'm just trying to make my own way, you know, not really aspire to be just like him, but, you know, be myself, be me.
When did you know about your granddad? Like, when were you told, like, let me tell you about Clark Gable?
When I was a younger kid growing up, my dad had always told me a lot about him, but I never really knew the power of it until I went into school. And, you know, I went up for my first award graduating out of, you know, kindergarten, and all the parents would stand up when they'd hear Clark Gable, come up, get your award. And I'd, you know, be wearing a little suit and tie. My mom would dress me up to look really nice, but I always didn't really understand why everyone would stand up and kind of look at me very funny. But
Did you ever want to be Chris Gable or Pete Gable or something?
You know, I would use my middle name. I'd be like Clark James.
CJ.
Because we never really meet many Clarks. And whenever I meet a lot of people, it's like, oh, like Clark Kent. And I'm like, sure, yeah, that's fine. That works.
But do you like it now? Are you happy that
Yes, I love it.
Let me tell you something. I would like to roll with the name Clark Gable for a little while.
I would
Can
never
borrow
even use my first name. It's just full Clark Gable every time. Like, Clark Gable, nice to meet you.
All right, the 13th season of Cheaters starts tomorrow. Check your local listings.
That show is wild.
How did you come to host Cheaters?
A series of very strange events. You know, I met this gentleman from Texas, Bobby Goldstein, and I was working on a project with him, a reality show I wanted to do based on my family, and it was just an idea I had. So he, you know, we've been working on developing this, and then long story short, he called me about 3 months ago and said he has a show that he syndicated. I knew it was Cheaters. I hadn't really watched the show. I didn't really know too much about it, but he asked me if I wanted to do a screen test. So I came down to Burbank, California, did a screen test, and about a week later, I got a phone call saying, hey, come to Dallas. You know, we have this, we have an opportunity for you to host a show. So I went out there and didn't realize what I was getting myself into. But wow, have I learned a lot.
Is it fun?
Yeah.
Wiping scumbags off the street?
Yeah, it's great. It's
standing up for the ladies of the world who are getting cheated on?
Absolutely.
That's it, Clark.
Happy birthday!
Clark Gable!
Thank you.
Fall fashion coming up.
What? You can keep making the meals. You're good.
Martha, I've got a
So
confession.
personally, I'd order from the Szechuan Palace. Now, the House of Funan is great, but all this garlic just gives me gas.
Mom. We're in front of company here.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's family.
Safe trip, George.
A short one. No, Sam. Thanks, Nick. Charlie. Sure.
The two jockeys have acknowledged each other. It's a quick hello, like boxers touching gloves.
On, George, this is no time for small talk.
Both the horses are now on the main track, and you can hear the roar from the crowd.
Back him off, son. Back him off. Back him off.
Come on, back, George. Come on.
Come on, Georgie. Don't fool around.
Sure hope you're right, Red. Here we go. Box. God damn it, Johnny.
Hi, I'm Fred McLeod, Cavaliers television voice. Normally Austin Carr is sitting to my left, but, well, he gave up for...
I'm Beth McLeod. I work at WIO Channel 19, and welcome to Fashion Flash. So when you work in TV, do you want me to go?
Sure.
So when you work in TV, we're a little self-conscious of what we wear. However, I'm a little more self-conscious of what he wears. If you see my husband in a white shirt, I picked out the outfit.
But I'm the one that gets the tie dimple perfectly. Sometimes it's, how many times do I tie a tie?
In the house?
Yes.
4.
Or 5, or 6. And when the other 4 or 5 don't go very well, it's not a good place to be.
Kind of like when my dresses don't fit, that's not a fun place to be.
No. We know each other's limitations.
So I dress for the weather that I like. Even when it's below freezing out, sometimes I'll still show my arms because you have to layer up all the coats and the mittens and the hats and the gloves. But I figure I get into the office and it's usually about 70. Sometimes it's 80 in the studio because of the lights. Sometimes it's down to 63. So it doesn't matter. I'm usually uncomfortable. So I figure, well, I might as well dress for the weather I like. So even when it's January and you see my arms, you can just think that maybe that's my fashion faux pas.
You notice right now that there's a thunderstorm right over the thumb of Michigan, but that's going to mean lake effect. Oh, that's right, wrong job, wrong person in the family. But you know what? I'm glad because I get facts right. My wife, she can be 4 or 5 numbers off. Oh, you did a great job, Beth. If I miss a score by 1 number, my Twitter handle will blow up. But nonetheless, I like to talk about wins at the end of the night with the Cavaliers. So timestamp, August 26th, 2015, Fred McLeod guaranteeing the Cavaliers will have a celebration parade down Euclid Avenue for the 2016 NBA champs. Forget about jinxes, there are no such things, right?
Are you sure you're going there?
If I'm wrong, we just delete.
Everybody stand up and cheer. It's over for 54 years. No more again. the plate. Calvary Irving, nothing done. 18,801 days, and it's over. Never again. Celebrate. Go crazy. Because the championship is yours. It's time to have a party. Sincerely.
No, if you could call me if he does come in. Thank you, Bernice. Okay. She thinks we should call the police.
Oh, that seems a bit over the top. I mean, it's not the first time it's happened.
So we wait until he doesn't come home at all, yeah?
Ashley, this isn't Marlon's fault.
Sorry.
At last. Where on earth have you been?
What are you doing here?
Dad, you really have to stop doing this.
No. I'm not in the mood for another lecture.
We're not trying to tell you what to do.
Good, because you'd be wasting your breath if you did.
But be honest, you've been acting rather odd lately. Bit forgetful.
What?
Maybe it's time you talk to someone. Dr. Abbott, perhaps.
How dare you? There's nothing wrong with me.
Dad, calm down.
Don't tell me what to do. Do you think I'm going senile?
Nobody's saying that.
I'm happier now than I have been for years. And you will not take that away from me. You will not!
Yeah, well, I noticed she was late for the bus. Again, Ashley, again.
If you can do better, you get her to school. First Steve passing judgment, now you.
Oh, are you here to play martyr, or are we going to talk about your dad?
Both.
Hello.
Dad, you're here. When did you say this?
Oh, you didn't give me a chance, did you?
I was just wondering if you got over your wobble last night.
Yeah, you see, we just want what's best for you.
Funny. I thought you'd want to bicker between yourselves as who was most to blame.
No?
We're very much together on this.
Oh. If you were very much together, we wouldn't need to be here now, would we? I must say you've got a cheek. Acting surprised that I am unhappy. How could I be anything else in the light of what's happened?
I thought we'd moved on from all of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you move on from being an adulterer?
Pardon?
You heard me. You're an adulterer. Ashley, you're an abuser. Marlon is an adulterer. And all three of you have visited this calamity on the children. And on me.
Dad.
Shut up! I'm talking.
Well, you're being very cruel.
I'm very glad for you that you've moved on. I am trapped. No power. Dragged along like an old rag in the slipstream of your mess. You made the mess. Your children are suffering. But they are children. They have endless possibilities. But I have not much time left. Can't I live quietly with some control over what I have left? I knew you'd fallen for Marlon. I should have acted differently. I should have told Ashley earlier, and then you might have had a chance.
Please, don't.
Why do I have to live with him? Here. He's not my family. My family's broken. Isn't that punishment enough? No tears.
So sorry. So sorry. So...
Yes, I know. We're all sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
Nose done. I was thinking of doing that. No, seriously, was it painful?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not too bad. Okay, are you ready, Matt? Okay, now listen, you must get invited to parties all the time. What made you come to this one?
Midweek, nothing to do, why not, you know what I mean?
Alright, well it's the launch of Blah Blah Blah, which is a new
right.
teen youth magazine.
Yeah,
Do you think there's enough room in the market for another youth, music, lifestyle magazine?
Ooh, I don't know, I'm not a real sort of like muso reader really, you know what I mean? No, I'm barely read myself. No, you know what I mean? Yeah, if it's a good mag, it's going to get read, isn't it? People always want to read something good, there's there's plenty of shite out there, so yeah, you know what I mean?
So what did you think of the party?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Everyone seems to be having a good time, so yeah.
And how's life treating you with the Prodigy?
Yeah, really well at the moment. Yeah, everyone's having a really cool time. There seems to be, quite a lot going on, new single and that sort of thing. So, yeah, we're enjoying life, having fun.
How has it affected your life? I mean, since about 1993 when you had everyone in the place, and how's life changed for you?
Only doing more live shows. Everything's been like a gradual progression. So, nothing for us changes. Although people see they don't see you for a while and you come back, you got new things going on, new sounds. Nothing changes for us. It's just slow progression and off it goes.
And how about live gigs, live dues? You're doing a tour soon, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, just summer, all that we're doing, Reading and Phoenix, and we'll probably do the sort of main European festivals, and
loads of through traffic here, isn't there? I mean, we just can't get a place, but anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so just looking forward to that kind of summer vibe, really, which should be really, really cool.
Now, it's Mother's Day on Sunday.
Yeah.
What does your mum think of it all? Especially your hair. I mean, tell me about that. What does your mum say?
Oh, she loves it. She's lived life. She knows what it's all about. So she knows that, it's about enjoying yourself and, doing what you want to do. So it's quite evident to her that that's what I'm doing. So she's buzzing,
If you're happy, she's happy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, it's Mother's Day on Sunday. Take the mic a sec.
Oh, yeah.
And look into the lens. And let's just give a message to your mum.
Oh,
Imagine your mum's watching.
But no, that's the point is that she's actually out in Tenerife at the moment,
Doesn't
having
matter.
Oh,
a little holiday.
Doesn't matter.
No. So she won't actually get that. She's got a present and everything already. So.
Well, just give it a mum if you're watching. I love you.
Yeah, but she's not.
Have a good holiday in Tenerife.
Oh,
No.
Oh, come on. Just do it for Mother's Day.
No.
All right. Okay. Well, one last thing. Our show's called The Biz. It's an entertainment and showbiz show.
Yeah.
How about you look at the camera and take the mic and say hi? He's from The Prodigy. You're watching The Biz. Because people will be watching that, even if your mum isn't.
Okay. Hi, I'm Keith from The Prodigy, and you are watching The Biz.
Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot.
Lowe, the young gun from Missouri, on a big-time bull. Take it to him. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, my goodness. What a bull ride.
Oklahoma City, I know you appreciate greatness. You are just not loud enough right now.
Oh, boy.
And folks, watch the replay here. Check out the big screen. And Mason Lowe is making some monster moves. Scores coming in. Sweet Pros Bruiser Mason Lowe, 91 points.
I'm shuffling.
Every time he goes, you're liable to see the rankest trip ever.
Mason Lowe. And Mason Lowe will move on to round number 3. And guys,
let's talk temperatures for a second. Mason Lowe can be ever so hot, like we just saw him on Smooth Operator, or ever so chilly.
Well, what we talk about in the Open, man, this is the kind of an event that can make a career. Mason Lowe, this was huge right here. Smooth Operator, guys do not get along with this bull. Mason Lowe handles him. That was big, Ty.
Yeah, does a great job. Every time that bull would jerk on him, he'd stick his knees in his back and kind of absorb it back down, and he just kept trying. And you know, that's the main thing. You see him when he got off, he's so pumped up and so fired up. Now it's important to keep that momentum going forward. Let that feeling of all that adrenaline coursing through your vein, let that be what carries you forward.
Der Deutschlandachter auf dem Weg nach London. Begleitet uns auf dem Weg nach London.
Ich bin der Maximilian Reinelt, 22 Jahre alt, wohne im Moment in Dortmund. Morgens fahre ich immer mit dem Fahrrad zum Stützpunkt. Das sind genau die 15 Minuten, die ich brauche, um richtig wach zu werden. Wir sind jetzt hier an der Umkleidekabine. Ich mache mich fertig fürs Training, aber da dürft ihr leider nicht mit rein. So, ich bin bereit, umgezogen und jetzt geht's aufs Wasser. Es ist morgen früh, 7 Uhr. Eigentlich würden wir alle noch gerne im Bett liegen, aber nur der frühe Vogel fängt den Wurm und deswegen müssen wir raus. Der Trainer ist auch schon auf Wasser und möchte sehen, dass wir jetzt ordentlich am Riemen reißen. Morgen ist natürlich immer ein bisschen schwer, aber wir geben unser Bestes und nach spätestens 2 Kilometern sind alle wach und der Spaß kommt auch dazu.
Bei den Trainingseinheiten, da müssen wir immer 100% bringen. Also der Trainer fordert uns schon ganz gut auf dem Wasser. Konzentration, Körperspannung ist ja beim Rudern ein wichtiges Thema. Aber gerade danach wieder runterzukommen vor der nächsten Einheit ist so eine Massage natürlich eine wunderbare Sache.
Und wir haben richtige Profis hier, danach fühlt man sich butterweich. Ja, es ist 10 Uhr, einmal trainiert, Physiotherapie gehabt. Jetzt sind wir an der Ruhr-Uni. Gleich habe ich Physiologiepraktikum. Thema für heute ist Schmecken und Riechen und passend dazu das leckere Unterwegsfrühstück. Ja, schon viel passiert heute. Sport gemacht, gelernt. Jetzt wird es Zeit, die Energiespeicher wieder aufzufüllen. Normal würde ich das am Stützpunkt machen. Da haben wir eine super Küche, aber die Zeit reicht einfach nicht, um da jetzt hinzufahren. Und deswegen geht's ab in die Mensa. So, hier müssen wir ein bisschen leiser sein, weil hier sind unsere Schlaf- und Ruheräume. Und jetzt wollen wir doch mal reinschauen, ob da jemand schläft. So, schau mal. Ah, hier ist der Lukas beim Lernen. Und jetzt können wir noch einen Blick nach hinten werfen. Hier ruhen wir, wenn wir gerade nicht am Trainieren sind. Ja, jetzt haben wir die zweite Trainingseinheit. Auf dem Trainingsplan steht Krafttraining. Das machen wir eigentlich alle ganz, ganz gern. Weil Krafttraining hat immer so einen kleinen Wettkampfcharakter. Man sieht, wie viel Gewicht die anderen aufgelegt haben, wie viele Wiederholungen die schaffen. Man kann sich super mit den anderen vergleichen und es stellen sich doch ganz passable Ergebnisse ein. Ja, der sportliche Teil des Tages ist jetzt beendet. Ich habe in 2 Wochen eine Klausur, deswegen muss ich noch ein bisschen lernen. Das mache ich hier am Ruderleistungszentrum. Da ist es abends total ruhig, keiner mehr da, man kann sich super konzentrieren. Und wenn ich damit fertig bin, ab ins Bett, denn morgen um 6 beginnt ein neuer Tag.